Hello everyone, my name is Ralph, and today we are doing two-sum. Two-sum is a pretty simple problem, and this is how it goes. Given an array of integers, nums, and an integer target, return indices of the two numbers such that they add up to target. You may assume that each input would have exactly one solution, and you may not use the same element twice. You can return the answer in any order. And okay, so the first example inputs nums, an array of integers in order 2, 7, 11, 15, and the target is 9, and the output will be 0, 1, which represents the indices of 2 and 7. If you add it up, it's equal to 9. Okay. Example 2, this one is unordered. 3, 2, 4. The output will be 1, 2, which represents 2 and 4. If you add it up, it's equal to 6. Okay, and there's always an answer. Yes, okay, so two-sum has a couple solutions. Out there, there's different solutions, and some of them may require some assumptions. For our example, for this scenario, we would use a hash map, right? So before we dive into the code, let me explain to you how the hash map will work. So looking at the hash map right now, hash map is basically a data structure that allows us to map some certain keys to certain values. So for our example, hash map has to be declared using two data types. The first data type will be the data type for the keys, and the second one will be for the values. If you learn more about time complexity, you will learn that hash map has the fastest searching, which is just 01. That's why we're using hash map. The whole goal of the problem is to find two values in the input, right, that will sum up to the target. Therefore, target is equal to the current element that we're at and some value in the hash map, right? Because we want to find those pairs. And we're going to use the hash map to store values. And so, since we're looking for this key in the hash map, by doing some simple math, it will be target minus the current element. And in this way, we can efficiently store values in the hash map. The way our algorithm works is that we will check if the hash map contains the key. And if it does contain the key, we return what is expected. If we don't find the key, what we will do is we will store the current element as the key and the index of that current element as its value. So let's do one iteration of this problem. Since our hash map is empty, so we will run this line. We will say if the hash map contains target, which is 9, current element is 2, then 7. If the hash map contains 7, which it doesn't, right? You want to store what? We want to store the current element. So we say 2, 0. 2 representing the current element, 0 representing the index of that current element. Okay, so now we're done with that. Now we move on to the next element. We say target 9, current element 7. 9 minus 7 is 2. If the hash map contains 2, which it does, right, what do? We say in the result, I want to store the index of the current element as its first value. So we say current elements is 7, the index of that is 1, right? And for our second element, in this scenario, we say index from the hash map, which is basically the value of the key. Key is 2, right? And its value is 0. So we put in 0. So basically that's how the algorithm will work for this problem. And so now let's put that into code. So first, we want to set up our basic data structures. So first we have a result. which will take in 2 integers, right? And then we also have a hash map. So we say hash map, 2 data types. It has to be an integer. I always name my hash maps as HM, just for simplicity purposes. Okay, so now that we've done that, we want to traverse all of the input, right? And so we can do that using a for loop. And we say int I equal to 0. I want to traverse the whole array, so we say nums.length. And then, okay. So using the algorithm that we had, we say if the hash map contains, we're going to use the method contains key. And if it contains the key, we do something else, we do something else. All right, so for contains the key, what are we looking for? We're looking for the target minus the current element. How do we do the current element? We say nums I. And then if we find it, we say the result, the first element, will be equal to the index of the current element, which is basically just I. And the second element of the result would be the index from the hash map. So once we find it, we say hm.get target minus nums I. So the get method here is a way for us to get the value of a key, right? If we don't find the key in the hash map, we do something else. We put that value inside. So we say, if we don't find it, we say, put the current element as the key, and its value should be its index, which is just I. Okay, so that's pretty much the whole for loop. And now we just have to return the result. And so now just going over again our whole code, here we establish the data structures we need, result for our result, and the hash map to store values. The for loop, we want to traverse all of the input, right? We want to make sure that we find an answer. If statement here, we're looking for the key, and we're using target minus nums, right? And if we do find that key, you want to return the index of the current element, as well as the index from the hash map. Get here is basically a way for us to get the value of a key. And if we don't find the key, right, we will put the current element and its index in the hash map. And then lastly, we just have to return. So let's run this code. Yep, got it. Let's input some other values. Test case. And we put 6. That's good. And so actually you can also do, let's say, 7. Should give you 0 and 2, right? 2, 0, 0, yeah, okay. And yeah, then you can submit. There you go. So yeah, so that's how you do TwoSum. If you guys like the video, please like or whatever, something. Yep, thank you.